Okie dokie, let's go and jump some rank games with a random character and see who we're going to get to play today. So it looks like we're playing a ranger. We do start off with a Defining Basket, and I'm looking at this stone badge. Now I like the stone badge, not as much on the ranger, but on every other class I do like it quite a bit because it will give us a ton of value. Problem is, we'll never ever see class specific items, and one class specific item for the ranger is going to be the acorn collar. It really defines the build by quite a bit. So I'm going to start off by grabbing ourselves a broom. I'm going to take the stone badge, and we're trying to stack up an insane amount of stones. Which means I'm going to go for a freaking shovel round one. Now I'm actually going to roll to try and get some extra sales, and we got a pretty good one. Beaner healing herbs. Now this is probably the worst round one. We didn't make use of any of your sales, but we're going to get a ton of value throughout the run. So losing our first rounds, if we actually manage to win out, it's going to be nuts. But we're going to end up losing our first round to get a ton of value later on. And it was much closer than I thought it was going to be, to be honest. But we got our shovel. Let's grab our stones. And let's grab our healing herbs. And I'm very tempted to grab this box of riches. Maybe I do want to grab it. Yeah, we're being way too greedy for ourselves. 2 gold left. I'm going to roll once. We probably want to grab the broom along with this bit of storage. And I'm going to move on. So we want to grab as much regen as possible because we want to go for as much stone golems as possible. If you go for 2 stone golems, that's going to be the dream today. With our stone badge, that could be possible because it does generate up a 1 cost item. Our shovel is going to dig up an item worth maybe 2 or 3 golds, maybe even just 1 gold. With our box of riches, we're going to get some gemstones. So this is going to be a potentially a crazy value run if we do manage to win this round. The opponent is going to have pretty decent max life stack, and they already have double our max HP. But we're putting up a good fight still. And you know what? Hell yeah. Not too bad. And we also got Dig Deeper. Now the ironic thing is, I kind of want to keep our shovel the way it is because Dig Deeper gives us higher value items. But all I want is stone. And we got 3 econ augments, being our investment opportunity to give us extra gold per rounds. And we also got Pick a Pinata to explode piggy banks, giving us a ton of value. Now we can also take investment opportunity because when our stone golem does use up 7 buffs, it's going to give us max life, along with the block. But it's been a long time since I've taken Dig Deeper, so I'm definitely going to go for it. And we really want to grab ourselves some brooms right now. I'm going to take an extra gemstone. I'm going to roll. Hell yeah, we're going to grab our stone, and we want to grab this bit of storage. But the ideal thing would be to craft up a second shovel. We really do need that extra shovel. That's for sure. Now, our opponent also has Dig Deeper, and they got 2 box of riches. I was going to say piggy banks. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah, they're setting up for a greedy run too. But is our greediness going to outpace our opponent? Because we do have that stone badge for that small bit of block. We want to go for regen. That is 5 blind on us, but 6 blind on our opponents. So it's not looking too bad. Definitely not looking too bad. For sure, we do actually take out that Reaper, which is awesome. Now we did get a torch, which I'm going to sell. I'm going to grab our storage. Let's grab our bag of stones. I might take out a box of riches as I roll. We could also craft up star sand. Well, let's keep going. That's a frying pan. Hell yeah, I'm going to risk losing this round to craft up this extra shovel, because we're going to use up an insane amount of stamina. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of stamina, but we'll see how we get on. We're going to get a ton of stones. Our opponent does have a Shepherd's Crook, so blind is not going to matter too much to our opponents. They also got damage reduction and some potentially good healing with false life. Maybe even overhealing, but they don't really have any ways to overheal right now. And again, we are running out of that stamina. However, it's still looking pretty good for us. Yeah, we do actually end up taking out that Reaper. So not too bad. We dug up a freaking Mage's Hat. Gain 10 block for each common item. That's kind of interesting. We also got a Ripsaw Blade. Let's grab our unidentified Amulet. Amulets of Alchemy is possibly terrible for us. That's another freaking stone. I'm going to be grabbing every single stone under the sun. And we could also use our potions to go for a big Poison Ivy type build with the amount of stones we're going to have. But I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it because I just want our stones, like I said. And we can actually use these crafted up gemstones to be rare items, but we should be able to start off with just 40 block from this. 40 block is kind of nuts from this point of view. Or just playing it again. What am I talking about? Let's move on. Do we want the ruby egg? Not exactly. But 40 block is 50% of our opponent's life. And we do a big barrage of stones dealing tons of damage. We inflict our blinds. Our opponent is rocking 2 axes, which is going to be pretty stamina intensive. But with the utility pouch, they are going to be a lot slower. Now, the thing that is going to be scary is this Power of the Moon, giving him a ton of max life. And without that Power of the Moon, yeah, we actually could have bet this opponent. But can we still win out? It's not looking like so. We do got a lot of blind, but it's not going to be enough. Unfortunately, it is what it is. That's a second Mage's Hat. A second Mage's Hat. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make use of this one. Go into gloves. I'm going to roll. That is an early Prismatic Orb. A round 6 Prismatic Orb. I'd actually like to take it and go for a Prismatic Sword with a Stone Golem. Should we try to take it? I mean, we can afford it right now, which is the crazy part. So if we sell these gemstones, I like keeping our green gemstones to get our region stacked up, so I'm going to sell you. And I will be taking this. And I'm going to be taking a Prismatic Orb. Which means I kind of want to take our set of blueberries as well. Or should we just ignore it for now? I'm going to take it. The Prismatic Orb is going to potentially give us one of every buff every 7.2 seconds. It is pretty slow, but it still should be pretty decent. Because it's going to give us Vampirism, it's going to give us a power, it's going to give us more regen, it's going to give us spikes, and even a little bit of heat. It's just a big power up for right now. But that's a Steel Goobert with a Blood Goobert. And a good old Turbo Shelly for a decent bit of heals as well. But the longer the fight goes on, can we still win out? Because it's looking very, very dicey right now. And our double shovels, not doing as much work as I'd love it to be doing. But they are just shovels at the end of the day. However, that's a freaking bag of stones. With this, and I really wish this was a wooden sword. I'm going to roll though. That is a practically large greatsword. But let's take a bit of storage. Super ideal with stone golems, maybe. As a hunger blade. Tons of vampirism stacking. Maybe we want to get rid of one of our shovels. We're on 2 lives. We could also go for magic torch. Is it time to get rid of our shovels right now? I'd love to be more greedy and get our shovels another round, but I'm going to sell both. I'm going to sell both because I'm going to take our hunger blade, which is an epic item. And yeah, I'm going to be crafting up our magic torch. I'm also looking at this holy armor so we can get a bunch of block if we do want to. We could also stack up our prismatic orb beside it, so we get some extra regen, so we get even more vampirism. I'm going to save our 2 gold and I got a Ventron. This should be pretty darn decent. We have so much regen that we should be able to get a crazy start of vampirism. And we'll see how we get on. Also, with our extra stones, we should be able to do a little bit more damage, but that's hammer dagger action with crits. But yeah, we could be in trouble. They're also going to hit faster since you're going to have the puzzle bag with the spell sculptor grow. But as long as we can vampirism our way back up, it shouldn't be too bad. Hell yeah, we got a ton of buffs. And I think our greediness has paid off quite a bit. Now we do got a couple of options. We can go big bowl of treats so our stone golems have a 20% chance to activate again. Problem is, we need to stack up our regen by an insane amount if we do that. Otherwise, we take Aegisla's Leaf. And the reason to take Aegisla's Leaf is, we can stack up our mana with a Prismatic Orb along with Aegisla's Leaf, but also have crazy regen as well. So at the end of the day, I think Aegisla's Leaf is going to be our best combo. Now that's another bag of stones. With this too, and let's keep rolling. That's a mana orb. We could straight up just go for a mana thirst, but I'd rather keep this as a mana orb. Now, is it time to sell our stone badge? It's been good, but I think it might actually be time to get rid of it. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. Mana orb really does want to sit in this spot because it is going to be another epic item. It's also going to trigger a lot as well, which will be amazing. And we're also going to take the storage. So we can go something like this as well. So we should be able to get 14 mana, 7 regen from this. We should be able to get another 6 mana from this. And we definitely want to add in our green gemstones with some extra vampirism. And we should potentially, if we play our cards right, by having this here, we should be able to start off with 3 more mana as well. If we add in more rares, we can actually activate our big mana buff pretty fast. I'm also going to sell this so we can go ahead and grab ourselves a set of blueberries. Set of blueberries, and yeah, I'm going to rock on with this. We should be able to get insane mana from the rip. And it shouldn't take us too long to stack up our mana. To get a big mana buff bomb, we do start off at 26. We got a big barrage of stones. And we should be able to get our Van Prism. And once we get our magic staff, we're going to be using up a little bit more mana, making it a little bit more difficult to get to our big mana buff bomb. But it's really not looking too bad. Our opponent does have a cupcake staff, trying to stack up their heat like crazy as well. And yeah, we should potentially be able to win out. I could say that as they're healing up like crazy. But smashing. Definitely smashing. And that's a big old blue gemstone. We could take this, go for mana thirst, and just go infinitely stacking mana to get a bunch of block. We can also sell our little red ruby to go ahead and grab ourselves another freaking prismatic orb. This way we start off with 8 more mana, 8 more mana. We also get 3 mana from this, 6 mana from this, and we should be able to get 40 more mana from this. So hell yeah, I'm going to be rocking on with this. Can we instant activate our mana orb right now? Definitely so. Kind of a crazy start. Definitely crazy start. We get our Van Prism, we get our Empower, we get our Regen like crazy, and I'm going to try to fill up our Stone Golems as much as possible. And smash it. All we need to find is heart containers. Now we could straight up just take By the Holy Light to try and get those heart containers on sale. It'll also speed up our prismatic orbs, which I do like quite a bit. Acorn Ace literally does nothing for us until we find an acorn color, but I'm not too interested in that. Bag Tackler, we have a lot of regular bags with 2 potion bolts, so it's a great skill. Just gives value to our bags, but our bags right now is pretty bad. So I'm going to take By the Holy Light. And that's an acorn color. I'm going to take it. We get a crits, which is going to be smashing. Let's grab a red gemstone, let's roll. And that's a crazy amulet to get. To the point where I'm going to sell you. And we're definitely going to grab this and craft up a red color because it's just going to be so much heals. Now it did move our setup around just a small bit, so we're going to lose out in 2 more mana, which means we're only going to get 12 mana. We're going to get another 8 mana from this, so that's going to be 20 mana, 26 mana, as well as another 6 mana. We do need to place this back in this spot, and that should literally be perfect for us. The problem is, we're not going to get a speed on our prismatic orb, which I did want. Now we could place it in this spot. We don't get as much mana from our mana orb, but it still should be generally okay. Let's add this into our major set. Let's actually grab our stamina stack and let's move the hell on. This should be smashing. We'll see, because we are going to begin a cheesy Goobert's Pyromancer with a Burning Banner Turbo Shelly. We also got this Spell Scroll Dark Frenzy to move everything faster as well. They're going to be stacking up a lot of max life, but we got crazy buffs. And we should get some crazy damage. And not looking too bad. Our opponent does have 370 max life. They're going crazy on their max life. We got a big old heal as well. But we got 25 Van Prism, 14 Regen, 6 Empower, and smashing this. And we're about to get ourselves even more healed by grabbing this red collar. I'm going to grab our storage, and I'm looking at this unidentified amulet. I do want to take it quite a bit, but I also want to roll to try and grab ourselves a holy moly lightsaber. Not exactly what I'm looking for. But can we take a second Hunger Blade? Go for Mana Thirst. I wouldn't really mind it. If we had more topazes, I would probably gladly take it. But I'm also going to grab this to speed up our magic torch as much as possible. We can place this back in the right place. Right now I'm going to take this for a little bit of stamina and I'm going to roll. Big old red ruby. 8 gold. I'm actually going to take that because we're going to place that in our mage's hand for insane amounts of healing. And we'll see how we get on right now. We didn't get enough mana, but it shouldn't be too bad because we're dealing our big damage. And I don't think it's going to be close. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be close based on how much buffs we have. Awesome. Now that's a big old twine badge. We could try to go for a Practically Large Greatsword. We could also take the perfect Amethyst to reduce our opponent's healing by 45%, which is no joke. I really just want our increased healing though. I also want this bit of storage. And I do want to grab ourselves another set of blueberries. Giving us more mana from the rip, guaranteeing that we're going to get our big mana buff bomb from the rip. And I'm looking at these other items, which I'm not necessarily actually wanting to grab, so I'm going to move on again. Just heart containers is exactly what I want. We got 101 healing amplification. That's a lot of healing. So we should be in a pretty good spot. Now we are going to pick in a katana who is going to be removing our buffs and our damage, which could be a little bit troublesome, but again, we have 101 healing amplification. So we're going to have crazy heals. But they're actually doing pretty well into us. They got a lot of max life. They got a ton of buffs as well. They have reduced our buffs. They have reduced our damage. And this could be a pretty dicey opponent to be facing. But again, we got crazy heals too. So this is going to be a super long fight, but our opponent does have the buff advantage on us. So we do end up falling short. Now we could actually end up doing something crazy. We got our wooden sword. We could go for that prismatic sword. We would end up losing on our big mana buff bomb. We do have by the holy light to speed it up. We got a ton of vampiric items. We would have to get rid of our magic torch. We could end up going down to 1 life round. But I'm going to do it. We also got another mana orb. Let's grab you 2. Let's roll. And I'm going to take this fanny pack. I'm also looking at the gloves. Partially large greatsword could be kind of nice too. That's another stone with some more regen. Let's keep going, and that's our first heart container, hell yeah. With a big red ruby too. I love our big red rubies. Should be awesome. So we're going to grab this round. What are we going to sell is the real thing. I also want to grab more healing efficiency. I want to keep our box of riches. Well, I think we got to sell some gemstones. We sell you, which we're going to have to sell another one. I'm going to keep all the red rubies. I'm going to grab you, and we're going to have to figure out how we're going to craft up the stone golem. Because we're going to lose a lot of nature items. And I think we could just move on with this. Get our stone golem, which is going to be smashing. Now we could have also actually got some lifesteal on our stones. But our mana orb's going to be sitting in this spot. Maybe not the most ideal, but once we get our prismatic sword, it's going to be kind of nuts. We're going to get insane heals. We're going to get a stone golem to get empower and block up the rip. But we have lost a lot of damage by adding in a single wooden sword and not a magic torch. We're going to be stacking up mana. We have to potentially get a second big mana buff bomb. And we're healing up for quite a bit. Our opponent is also dealing massive damage. But we do manage to still win out with a single wooden sword and a hunger blade. But we got our first stone golem, we got our prismatic sword. Everything is looking kind of nuts. And I'm also thinking about grabbing this eye lamp. Eye lamp is going to scale up our accuracy as well as our damage. It's going to be a holy item thanks to our by the holy light. And I'm thinking about moving in this position. I kind of want to move all our items down a small bit. Having a stone golem in this position, but I also want to place that in this as well. We do kind of want a prismatic orb in this spot. We can move it slightly in here, which I think might actually be better for us. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the look of this right now. The only problem is our mage's hat doesn't really fit in where we have it, which is genuinely not ideal. I'm going to grab this regular ruby for now though. We could grab the Jin's lamp, but I'm not as interested in it. That's the second color, which I'm thinking about selling or dig deeper. Since we've no shovel, there's no point in actually keeping it, is there? We sell you. And we increase our healing efficiency with this a little bit more. We do need to sell one thing though. I want to keep all our stones. But what are we going to sell to grab this color? Because grabbing another red color, it's just going to be so much lifesteal. We definitely want to keep our topaz because this prismatic sword is going to be going pretty darn fast with 2 magic items. So unironically, do we sell 1 stone here? We should have enough to craft up another stone golem. So I'm going to sell 1. As mad as that is, we're going to place you in down below to craft up that extra red color. And we're not going to have enough mana to actually instant activate our mana orb. It is super unfortunate, but I am going to rock on with this. We should be able to stack up our mana. We should be able to get tons of lifesteal, especially on this prismatic sword. Yeah, we're going to have crazy insane healing. With 80% healing amplification, it should be pretty good. We should have 100% crits as well, 72%, and smashing. I'm actually tempted to see how much healing we're going to have, because DPS wise, we only have 55 DPS. Now our opponent did have 10 DPS, which is not too much. But again, our opponent did have a lot of damage reduction for the first few seconds of the fight. Now in terms of heals, 114 healing per second, which is kind of crazy. In terms of block, 170 block with our stone golem. Yeah, we got 4 more runs to go. We're going to continue on. And we're going to get our second stone golem. Right now, let's grab you 2, and Amadou Wiles is actually pretty darn smashing for a stone golem. Let's grab our tiny bit of storage. And we're going to need some nature items because we're running over stones. Which means we're not going to have as much mana from the beginning. But luckily, we're getting regen. Regen is perfect for us. Now, do we want to get rid of our Mage's Hat? Mage's Hat has been really awesome, but it takes up so much storage. And yeah, we're going to go for an extra Stone Golem. So I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to sell a small, tiny bit of regen so we can grab our extra bit of regen. And yeah, we're going to move on. Now, I did place our setup around just a small bit more difference. So we should be able to get more lifesteal on our Stone Golem along with our Prismatic Sword. Now, we're going to have a lot less healing efficiency since we did put our red rubies into our weapons. But it's still going to be crazy damage and crazy heals. And we're going to get our extra Stone Golem. Now, that's going to be a nature item. We're going to have to take it. Another freaking mana orb is going to be too good not to take. And I'm contemplating whether we should craft up a mana thirst. Now, if we're not too worried about our Stone Golem damage, this is looking kind of like an insane setup. We get lifesteal on all our weapons, it should be smashing. But again, with our Stone Golem, our best setup is going to be something more like this for our double Stone Golems. We place this in as well, we get our lifesteal. We end up getting crits on one of our Stone Golems anyway. The problem is, the Hunger Blade is also only going to get one of those crits. So I'm contemplating on whether we take our Bloody Amulet or do we go for a second Prismatic Sword. Now, mana orbs in this spot is the most ideal, but we also want our scaling damage on our Prismatic Sword because without our holy items, we're not going to have as much damage on our Prismatic Sword. So we kind of want it in this positioning. This mana orb is possibly terribly located. Let's go and grab our Stamina Sack. With another set of blueberries for even more mana from the get-go, it's still only going to be 8 mana. With another 16 mana. We're also not making as much use of our Finding Basket because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nature items inside out. But I think this should be pretty decent. This mana orb is going to be horribly placed, but it's going to have to do. We should be able to get crazy crits on our Prismatic Sword, crazy lifesteal on it, and we have the potential to get a big mana buff bomb. Now our opponent is inflicting a lot of blind, decreasing our accuracy, but with our eye lamp, with our luck, I think we should be able to keep up. Now we are running out of stamina because we are facing a shielded with a wooden buckler. Our opponent is stealing all our buffs, and we could actually end up losing because of that. And unfortunately, yeah, they did actually end up taking all our buffs, meaning we can't heal, we can't get our crits, so it's not too great for us. Now, you're going to be nature items, so I'm going to grab you. We also got in our bag stones, I'm not going to take it. We will, however, grab ourselves a mana orb. We probably should have taken that armor, actually. Let's keep rolling. More regen, let's keep rolling again. And yeah, let's keep rolling. I'm going to waste our 2 gold rolling. That's a big, perfect emeralds. Pretty much activating one of our Stone Golems straight away. We got so much mana orbs that I don't think the mana orbs was the right play. Because we're only going to be able to stack up enough mana. We're only going to potentially be able to activate one big mana buff bomb. But I'm going to risk it. I'm going to move on with this. I did place this mana orb in this spot, targeting our Prismatic Sword along with our Stone Golem. And we'll see. We do get 1 Stone Golem activated. It's going to be a little bit tougher to get our second Stone Golem, but with our emeralds pop off, yeah, we got both of them activated right now. Giving us 3 block and pretty decent damage overall. So overall, kind of amazing. Now it did give us just a perfect emerald again. For even more regen. I'm not going to take it. How about we just take more mana orbs? Well, when I see mana orbs, I kind of have to take them. Let's take our fanny pack. Let's roll again. I'm going to sell this so we can grab a tiny bit more luck. And let's roll again. Now, I'm going to sell you so we can grab this as well. So we get even more vampirism from the rip. Should be pretty decent. And I'm going to have our mana orbs in this positioning. Targeting our mana thirst or our hunger blade most of all. We do have our little chipped amethyst. That's going to be a nice little activator for both our mana orbs. So it's not looking too bad right now. The only thing that could improve our builds is grabbing some armor with these big red rubies. Big red rubies to give us insane healing efficiency because lifesteal, we already have a ton of lifesteal. If we face an opponent that does give us 100% heal reduction, this crazy lifesteal isn't going to do too much for us. But it's the final rounds. Let's see if this is going to be good enough to win out. We are facing Excalibur with his shields, with a moon armor. They're going to be going max life stacking like there's no tomorrow. But we got 58% healing efficiency, which is not terribly bad. We should have insane lifesteal on our Prismatic Sword. We should be able to get some big old crits. The problem that scares me is this shield, eating up our stamina. Now the funny thing is, they're going to try to survive for Power of the Moon to pop off, giving them crazy amounts of max life. So can we beat them down before that becomes an issue? Maybe not, because once we drop them below half HP, they're going to activate their Battle Rage with the Deer Guardian, stacking up their mana insanely fast, giving them tons of heals, and stacking up their max life. Now that fatigue has hit, so they got 1,400 max life. And are we going to be able to keep up with our Prismatic Sword, Stone Golem, big mana buffing, bombing type build? Because we're also stacking up a lot of buffs. That's for sure. But is it really going to be enough? Because we are running out of stamina like there's no tomorrow. But we got our Stone Golems just to go super fast, stacking up our power, lifestealing as well. And right now they should have 100%, 80% crits, since we only have 20 vampirism. But opponent almost has 2,000 max life, and we're slowly losing our life. While our opponent is actually going to end up losing. We've way too much buffs, we've way too much lifesteal, and we should have way too much damage. And this is going to be the longest fight in history. Holy moly, 2,200 in life. Now we could actually beat words, but when I just say I could eat my words, we do end up actually winning out. Now in terms of DPS, we ended up with 166, dealing 5,000 damage. Being a Prismatic Sword, Stone Golem spikes, Hunger Blade. I did want to keep our Hunger Blade to scale up our vampirism so we can scale up our crits. Now I want to see in terms of heals, how much did we actually have? 320 healing per second. And if we had an armor, this would have been a lot higher. But a red collar giving us 77 healing, Prismatic Orb, Prismatic Sword 74 healing, red collar 67 healing, vampirism 27. And then our Flawless Ruby inside our weapon. As you can see, it just gave us another 20 healing per second. Now in terms of block, we got 330 block with our Stone Golems. But definitely did not expect to be playing a Prismatic Sword, double Stone Golem type builds with the Ranger. But we did end up with 2 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. +9 or ranking us up a decent bit. However, I'm going to leave it here for now, and I just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And hope you look over for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, we're back in some round 18 fights, and we're going to see how this build can actually hold up against some other round 18 builds. We'll see, because our opponent is going to be stacking up a lot of poison on us. We do cleanse quite a bit if we do activate a big mana orb. We got tons of damage, we got lots of lifesteal, and it's not going to be too much of a problem. Hell yeah. I mean, can we deal with this kind of crazy looking Pyromancer type build? They got Dark Lantern, Stormbloom to stack up their max life, Frostbite for vampirism, and also trying to inflict some cold on us, but yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue now. They do get a vulnerability, stopping us from lifestealing. That's the gap they could actually win. And it's looking a bit dicey actually. They got crazy buffs, but we do actually end up winning out.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of